All right, thank you for staying with the Monday Report. There's a lot of concern coming through. We'll try as much as possible to squeeze as many of them in here. But there was a question from Principal Kimani, and Dr. Sugud just answered this very briefly in terms of the senior schools provision for learners with the HI, that is the hearing impairment. Very briefly, in just 1 minute.
Thank you so much, Trevor.
Yeah.
For special needs, we have taken care of that. Out of the 9603 schools, we have 40 of them that are special needs. We have those in HI, VI, and all those that are offering all of them. So we've taken care of that. In fact, even in the selection, we had to ask the special needs children to revise their choices, and we have taken care of that.
Okay.
Because we want to take care of that talent, that speciality.
Okay. Dr. Sugut, out of the 5,000 schools that were not chosen by any student, will you force the learners to go to schools they don't want?
Well, the schools that were not chosen were not 5,000. I don't know where you got that from, but there are a few that were not. Definitely, we will try as much as possible to place children in one of the 12 schools chosen by every child.
Okay.
But if there is a difficulty, definitely we should be able to navigate through that.
So if it's not 5,000, how many schools were not chosen?
They should be less than 1,000.
You don't have the exact number?
It's about, I can check in the system and then I'll respond to that.
All right, please check because you said they're not 5,000. So let's see, by show of hands, there's a microphone here. Yes, let's start with you and then I'll come to Francisco, who said he's a parent from a marginalized community. Yes, very briefly.
Yeah, my name is Edwin Dege, the chairman of Kisumu County Parents Association. I have two issues. One, now that schools have not been categorized, we don't have sub-county schools, we don't have county, we don't have extra-county, we don't have national schools. Has the fee structure been reorganized, or is it going to remain the same? Because like currently, the fee structures are different for each level of the school. So has it been reorganized? Two, it's about the hidden costs in CBE. Like for our children who are in primary, you find your child coming home and telling you, Daddy or Mommy, we have been told to take 2 eggs or something like that, something that you didn't have in. Is it going to be the same even in senior school, or is everything going to be put in the fee structure such that once you pay the school fees, you don't expect to be asked to pay any other charges?
Okay.
Thank you.
Pass the microphone back there. There are teachers also from Kisumu. Yes, go ahead, sir. Then you pass to the lady over here.
Yes, my name is Kamau Samuel. I'm a parent of Wago Primary School. Our school is located in the Embakasi North constituency, and my principal is there, Mr. Wachira Wakagunya, and our IT teacher there. We ourselves, in the capacity of the student as we grow, we are prepared because we start at the top in Embakasi North.
Okay.
My fear is, as a parent,
yeah,
and to the PA chair, vice chair, will it be more expensive to join grade 10, or will read more to drop out, or myself will make my child to repeat grade 9?
Okay. There's a microphone there. Yes, go ahead. And then there's a lady in front here. Yes, I'll come to you, sir.
Thank you so much. I'd like to go back to the issue of the special school. First of all, I'm Catherine Achengdaki, representing Senior Chifonunga School at Kisumu East. The school is for the deaf, and in Kisumu County, the only deaf school that we have there. But we are worried about the senior school. There is no any senior school in Kisumu County. It will force us as parents to take our children to other counties. And on that, you find like me as a parent, I have a disabled child who has also epilepsy. How will I take this child to the school in other county? So I'd like to request you so that you can answer us to the right way, because you've just brushed over the issue and we've not been answered. We are worried about our children, and we should look at their care, the care that you are going to give them as a parents. That's why we request for schools to be built or to be placed next to us as parents to look after our children, not to take them to other counties. Thank you so much.
So good you can answer that question directly, because it's a second time that's coming up.
Well, I think the question of special needs is truly a concern to all of us. And as I've said, we have schools distributed across the country, and children have also made choices on where they would prefer to be given the kind of disability they are going through. I know we have Kianjere in Kisii, we have one in Kisumu, but when it comes to a specific one, definitely be able to liaise with the officers in the field so that we can, if there's something special we can do, you know, you may not be able to capture everything, like the case that he's raising, that apart from maybe deaf, there is also epileptic, you know, that's a special case that we need to step in and work closely even with KISE and see how we can be able to place them appropriately.
Okay, but have you ensured that the special needs schools are within each county?
Yes, we have tried that as much as possible. But of course, in terms of there are disabilities that may require day schooling. So those are areas really that require a lot of conversation again. Remember, this is a journey, Trevor, that we are working, and we've had challenges in the process that some parents may not even be willing to bring out the children who are disabled to be able to get education. So this is a new field that we really want to explore, and that is why we even have a full directorate. We're working on that to ensure that we are able to take care of these people. Yeah. That's why when we even give capitation, we want to start with them, because we would not want them to be punished twice, really. So
my concern now is what Catherine has raised. So what can she do as a parent? She has a student who has a hearing impairment, but is also epileptic. There's no school within
grade 9.
So now what happens? What does she do?
Maybe you need to tell me the school he or she has chosen. Okay. Then we can work around that to see which one is the best for you.
Okay. Yeah. And the principal wants to come in as well. But which school did the learner choose? Just pass the microphone back to us so that we address this issue once and for all.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Pass it back to Catherine.
My concern basically was, over the years, regular schools have had special needs education units. Yeah. So this is a regular school that has a specific SNE unit. Basically, because these children, apart from the main impairment, they have other underlying conditions that makes it impossible for them to join boarding schools because of the Medicare that they need. Yeah. Sir, that is my concern.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
And just to make it clear that this conversation is also going to be played out again tomorrow in Elimu Mashinani, so the CS and the PS will be speaking to some Gituku, so some of those questions will pose to them. But Catherine, you wanted to clarify something in terms of the school that was selected, and in which county now was it there? Pass the microphone back to her. Yeah, go ahead. You don't have to reveal it. You can just tell us the general story.
I had an issue with the ed teacher. Yeah. So I had to tell the ed teacher to return the kid to grade 8 because we don't have the right direction to follow. I don't want my child to go there and fumble and then lose direction. Where do I go next? As a parent, I have to lead as an example and set a good place for my kid to settle in.
Okay. So you chose to make your child repeat because there's no clarity in the pathway. Yeah. Pass the microphone to the representative from KISE so that we hear that reaction first of all and hear what is the best way of dealing with this. Yeah.
I still repeat to say, my name is Daniel Sanoy from Kenya Institute of Special Education.
Hold the microphone closer to your mouth.
We have got special schools.
Yes.
And all these years, learners who follow an adapted curriculum. This is the group of learners with hearing impairment, those with visual impairment, those with physical impairments have been going to these regular schools. Essentially, Trevor, these kids have never been retained back in their primary schools because they were hearing impaired. Then what are we saying? We could be hiding something. And the situation is, learners who are hearing impaired do not follow a specialized curriculum. They follow an adapted curriculum, which means they could still move, one, to the special schools they have been going to, even in the previous system. Because kids who are in Aga Khan does not mean, because they are in the unit, they have never transited to a special school. Is that what we are saying? Not at all. So these kids have been transiting. So what holds them right now from transiting to a special school? Allow me to repeat what Dr. Mugo said. We could then end up causing the problem of, or rather a crisis of small schools, where each school with a unit requires to have a senior school. When we train teachers to attend to learners with special needs, we train and say we have trained them for education and management. The management of epilepsies and other attendant or associated disabilities. And therefore, the teachers in the system are able to manage medications and any other additional disabilities that may accompany the hearing impairment, the visual impairment. And therefore, I think for me, the system is ready for the children.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the back then and see what you're saying. But sir, you had the microphone. Let's give you a chance. Let's give him a chance because he's already had the microphone. Then we'll come to the back side. We haven't had anything from that region and that teacher as well. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Trevor. My name, as I said earlier, my name is Gaetano Mjuka. I'm representing Kasarani Sub-County as a PA. My question goes to Dr. Sugut. What the government taking as a mitigative measure? Because we understand and we have seen on social media, the junior school teachers, more so who are graduates, are demanding to have an autonomy, to have their heads of the school. What are you doing to avoid that? Because as parents now, parents are getting worried. Because if that continues, that will be a problem. What is the government doing to have that sorted out?
Thank you. There's a senior school teacher there over there. Before, as we pass the microphone to the back, Tafadhali pass the microphone to the back line there. They haven't said anything, but you go ahead, go ahead. I'm talking about this other microphone, yes.
Thank you, Trevor. My name is Francis Musungu, senior school teacher. I'm also an author. I'm a teacher at Dr. Ribeiro Parkland School. My concern is how prepared are senior schools? And we have to be honest here. In terms of curriculum-based infrastructure, senior schools, more than 90% are well prepared. But in terms of curriculum-based, competency-based pedagogy, where the teachers come in, I feel that we are not well prepared. And I'm happy that the two lady panelists have indirectly acknowledged that. One talked about awareness, that the government needs to, the Ministry of Education needs to do what, for example, the KRA has been doing, create as much awareness as possible. And my concern as I was coming was that that was not done early enough.
Okay.
And that is why what the other lady raised, that teachers at senior school need to change their attitude. They need to research. My issue was because the process, the teachers for a long time, these senior school teachers felt that they were left out in the process. They have not had that interest to research because most of these teachers are products of the 844. And this content they are expected to deliver in 3 months' time is new. And some of them have not even interacted with the materials. By the way, the government has not yet supplied the books. And the teachers have not taken their personal initiatives to go and find what is in the curriculum designs. And formally, most of these schools have not even acquired those curriculum designs.
Okay.
Reason? Awareness campaign was not run adequately.
Okay.
And the teachers did not own this process. The senior school teachers have not owned this process. So the question of attitude needs to be addressed adequately. And as you said, tooling is not enough, the attitude. So the government needs to do what the lady said. Awareness campaigns. More of awareness campaigns.
All right. And Teacher Jemima is a trainer. She's right in front of you there. So Jemima, is this an issue of training or attitude?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Trevor. Sorry. Before I respond to your question, when you're talking about preparedness to the transition in senior school, some days back we received a circular on nomination where parents need to nominate, assisted by the teachers, the head teacher and the learner, nominate learners in science, sports, arts and music. My question to you, sir, In this nomination, which came later after school selection, what contributed to it towards satisfaction during placement where learners were nominated? I have an instance where a parent was asking, how do I know my child is good in sports, yet during the selection, my child chose STEM, a different track? Then during the uploading of the details, we were supposed to upload evidence that this learner should be nominated in music. Yet, from your ministry, if I'm convinced right, after their sports and everything, do these learners have evidence? Do you have a way forward to evidence? And what contributed to the nomination? Does it mean you said a learner cannot be placed in two pathways, or this child cannot change? If I had STEM and I find myself challenged, I have been nominated in sports, and I'm going to be placed in STEM. I'm not going to transit or change to sports, yet I called the parent, took their time, and nominated this child. So what contributed to that, and what is the future promise to the parents?
So good, I hope you're writing down the questions, then you'll respond to them. Yes.
Yes.
So the
regarding the training and the retooling of the teachers, as far as I'm concerned, it is all about attitude. And when it comes to I talked about consistency. How prepared are we? Are our teachers in senior school able to interpret the curriculum and deliver the lesson learning outcomes as per the expected curriculum? Remember, equipped learner, engaged parent, empowered teacher prepares a learner in future. We are looking forward to who are we bringing out in the society. Dr. Mugo said it well, that we have girls, we have boys. When we are interpreting this curriculum, our teachers are aware that we are supposed to integrate with values and the 7 competencies that are going to bring a child who is not going to look for a job, a child who is going to create the job.
Okay. All right, thank you. There's a Francisco from the marginalized community, yes. And then I'll come to the back line over there so that we balance this.
Hello, everyone. I hope mko salama. Mtanikubalia tu nichanganye Kiswahili na Kizungu kidogo. Sawa sawa?
No problem.
So there are some questions that nilikuwa nimeambiwa tu nikuje niulize hapa hivi kwa sababu walisikia leo na kuja huku. And one of the questions is about the issue of parents being prepared and all that stuff. Technically, from where I come from, a majority of parents, the people that I've talked with, are not prepared. And which draws me to the question, if there was a public participation involved before the CBC was actually rolled out. And if it was, then who are these elite people who sat behind the table and decided that hii kitu itaenda? Whether we, the communities zinatoka kwa marginalized ama minorities, we accept it or not. You get, I need to understand that. And we also need to understand that there is a very big gap between those people who are very, very well off, because I've seen people supporting their parents are well off, are ready because of their position. Unaweza kuwa uko na kazi, si ndio? Uko na kazi na uko na watoto na uko na capacity. But now mtaani kule chini kuna mtu hana hiyo kazi. And as we know very well that the CBC was introduced, it was introduced as a free public education system. Unless I am wrong, then mnaweza ni correct pia. I need to understand, because hata mimi ni mzazi kutoka huko chini sielewi. Nataka kuelewa. So it was introduced as a free public education system, yet parents are now paying more than before for projects, materials, na printing. Now my question is, why are parents carrying this financial burden, and will the ministry standardize or subsidize learning materials? Can the ministry publish a national guideline on what schools can and cannot demand from the parents in the name of CBC projects? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's hear from the back line there. Yes.
My name is Faith, and my question goes to my colleague there. How far is the conversation about the anatomy and also the livelihood of its success? And again, my question goes to Mr. Mugo. You talked about adolescence, pregnancy. And as a Minister of Education, I believe you always get data, statistics about how girls are getting pregnant and everything. As a ministry, do you feel you're affected, or you always put the blame on parents and also on teachers? Because we have seen this coming up on the televisions, but we have never seen you people take action of engaging the parents and the school to get to understand what are some of the concerns that contribute to these early pregnancies to our schools.
Okay, pass the microphone to the back line over there. We haven't heard from them.
Okay, my name is Mwalimu Austin Agure from Embakasi South. I teach junior school and the primary. My question still goes, I support Madam, and as you're answering the question, please, I would like to know whether the portfolio will be used in that criteria, in terms of that nomination, the circular for nomination of the learners in art and sport.
Okay, so nomination again, yes.
Thank you, Trevor. My name is Roger Sodhiambo Pilmach. I have some concern on the issue of the STEM. First of all, I would wish to ask the panelists that how prepared are you to have 100% transition to senior school? My second question is about the STEM schools. Currently, we've seen most of the science teachers, because STEM is for science teachers, most of the STEM science teachers are employed in junior school. And as we speak, the government has already advertised another 24,000 slots for the interns. And most of the teachers, or according to the score sheet, most of the teachers who will be considered in that category are the science teachers. Now, when you go back to senior schools, you will realize that most of the teachers, some of them are retiring. And then now we'll have a deficit of science teachers. How prepared are you, or how will you make it? How will you make it well for the student who will be taking science subject in senior school? The last one is about, we've ever seen, you and me knows, that this Kenya, we normally scramble for things that will benefit us. As we know very well that in the last year, Form 1 was scrapped off. And now the senior school remained with Form 2, Form 3, and Form 4. Now, the surety that we want to get from you, that we are not going to have competition of the student from junior school going to senior school, from most of the senior school, because you know that most of the principal will be scrambling to have a good number of students in senior school. So it is a surety that we would wish to get from you, that there will be no competition of getting the learners from junior school to fill the gap of the student who are to be in Form 1.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. There's still someone at the back there. Yes.
Trevor.
Yeah.
I'm Gabriel Muzungu, Deputy Mararoi Primary School, Kasarani. My question to the ministry is to ask the ministry about the children who are totally disadvantaged because their parents are jobless, and this student here has scored exceeding expectation, or he has scored the cream of the total marks that they will be supposed to get that time. Is there any way that the minister has organized for the bursaries, now that we know what is happening with the CDF and all that? Okay. Is there any chance for that, or this student will lose that chance? And by bad luck, and God forbid, if that child loses that chance, will he be admitted to that school later on?
Okay, bursaries. Let's take two more at the back and then get the reactions from my panelists. Yes.
Yes, thank you, Trevor. I have a question to the ministry on addressing the issue on selection. I feel the parents were coerced with the students, and therefore they wanted an evidence. So I feel the ministry should come up with a way where there's an awareness on career and mentorship, because they are choosing something that are going to specialize in future. And you look at that process, it was like a forced marriage where people are forced to do this and you sign as an evidence. So I feel the ministry there should come up with an approach to create awareness before that process takes place, because it's like a lifetime decision when you're choosing a career pathway. So can you check on that as a ministry?
What did you say your name is?
Charles.
Charles.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's take some two more. That end. Yes, and then
my
come to
question
this further
goes
end.
to, is about staffing.
Yes.
The success of this curriculum solely depends now on the senior secondary teachers. We have seen in the recent past how these teachers are recruited. Politicians will dish out these papers to the people in their villages, not by merit. On junior secondary school, we saw those who were recruited were forced to teach, especially those who left universities. They are forced to teach the subjects that they are not well conversant with. Will that happen again on senior secondary schools when our students goes there? Will the teachers be forced to teach those subjects that are new because they have just been recently employed and they are told that nyinyi ni Gen Z, mnaweza soma haraka haraka kuliko sisi wazee. Asante.
Yes. Last one at the farthest end.
Thank you so much, Trevor. Indeed, also for our panelists. In line to preparedness is the so-called one of the biggest challenge for the globe today, and Kenya included, is the mental health challenges. And I tend to agree, even before I continue. My name is Jonathan. I'm from Embakasi West. Now, I tend to agree with the Dr. John in line to what you said, that we will be transitioning children who are already a bit aged. And along the way, these children have been exposed to technology. And due to that exposure, they tend to know a lot. Now, my question is, now once we transition them to the senior, to the senior school, that with that knowledge that they've been exposed to a lot of information, the question is in line to their mental health. We know learning is anchored along the well-being and their wellness. Now, within those senior schools, do we have wellness centers whereby our children will be catered for, such that the wellness centers are independent of the teachers?
Yeah, he gets the question. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Okay, let me hear from Mugo first before I give you Dr. Sugut a chance, because the bulk of the questions, as predicted, were all to him. So let's hear what you have to say. There's a concern from Faith in terms of girls' pregnancy and the concerns, issues, and whether this is a discussion that you're having or just laying blame on parents, and whether we have gotten to the bottom of this issues of girls and teenage pregnancies.
Yeah, thanks. I think a lot of teen pregnancy issues is the society. I think we have, as a society, lacked the appreciation that these are children. I didn't even mention, Trevor, that around 11% of them actually are married, before they are 15 years. And in some counties like Samburu, the early marriages, you find even up to 40%, and it is condoned as usual. And I think this is something for us to get concerned about. So that issue, a lot of it is abuse, is actually child abuse that we can call by all names. We close our eyes to what's happening. So I can't say who is to blame, but I think we have condoned a lot of abuse of girls, by older men. And when even government tries to follow up, it is parents who receive a goat and they keep quiet and all this, and yet we know that we are ruining the future of a generation. And so I think it's something that we really need to say that we are standing up, you know, for girls, because a lot of them, you find, you know, they are being taken advantage of, you know, like I was in Mombasa, you know, and I was meeting some of the girls. They were talking about, it was a boda guy who used to transport her to school, and when this happened, there was no one to, you know, rise up for her, even her peers, you know. So I think these are, it's a generation that requires support, and that's what I would say. And the one of the concerns is also about overage children, because the longer children stay in school and in the system, then we are seeing also the higher likelihood of dropping out. So having learners that are of the right age, I think, is important. You know, 47% of those that set for CAPSEA, you know, this cohort, were above 12 years. And so we need to check where children are entering late, or whether, or where they have, you know, and we have heard from one parent who had to make a choice that my child, I don't feel comfortable because I don't have all the information. I have to take, you know, her one grade lower, and which means now we have added the likelihood of them not completing. So all these things, I think, compound the issue, and we can't blame you know, whether government or parents. I think it's us as a society to ask, how do we take care of this generation, because it's our future better, all of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me bring in Mugi. There's a question for you from Kamau. I think it was a question of whether this is going to be more expensive, and this is also related to what Francisco was asking. Was there public participation, and what the gap between the wealthy and the struggling parents? Were they properly involved?
Oh, thank you very much, Trevor. And let me first comment from the issue of teen pregnancies and all that. As Dr. Mugo is saying, it all revolves around the values. For example, we are working jointly with the Directorate of National Cohesion and Values, where National Parents Association or Parents Association heads are being trained about the values. And when we look at this, is that everything is interconnected, meaning that when parents get to learn about the values, we have personal values, we have national values, we have organizational values, and family values, and all that. So if parents are educated about the values, then it means that as a society, we are much better when it comes to the things that that are happening with the teen pregnancies and all that. Even when these children, as they are growing, and the youth, they are aware of the values, and therefore we are in a better place when it comes to the national, or rather the values that are instilled in us. So it is very important even for us, and that is why, like, our partnership and working with parents, it's very broad, okay. And we get to at least at the end of the day curb some of these issues. Yeah. The other one was about, is it going to be costly?
Yes.
Yes. So now, when it comes to about, and this is a challenge to the ministry, I think more needs to be done when it comes to CBE, CBC, that more needs to be done when it comes to the investment for this education, because definitely it is more cost involving, and therefore if the ministry is able, and also communities are able to support schools, then we're in a better place, so that we do not have to transfer the burden to the parents because the schools are underfunded. So I think this is a challenge to the ministry, to the government of Kenya, so that they are able to facilitate and fund the schools much better than they are doing right now. Okay. So that at the end of the day, we do not have issues of inequality. For example, we have public schools and private schools. Private schools, I must say that they are well more prepared than the public schools, because even right now you'll find that I have a case of a school that classrooms have not been done for grade 9, 1 year down the line, as much as we're getting a promise of new laboratories. So it means that we need to do more, we need to put more effort as a government, needs to just invest, put more funds in education, and therefore we'll have a balanced
were you involved in any way during the public participation, like what Francisco was asking? And did you raise any concerns in terms of parents having to pay more? when it comes to this CBE?
Yes, I was involved. I think a very small bit of it, because also these were National Parents Association. We are getting to work with the government more and more and other partners, and therefore there has been a bit of less involvement when it comes to parents and their views. So I think the involvement for parents when it comes to that was not very well utilized. Okay. But I think we are in that journey where we have more and more parents who are involved in many other areas.
So it wasn't well done. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me bring in also Birer to comment on something here that was raised in terms of mitigative measures. As a head of institution yourself, there was a concern here that was raised by Mjuka, I believe, saying the junior school graduates are demanding some level of autonomy. What is the standoff here before we bring in the ministry to address it? What is the main concern?
My take on this subject matter is that once you have gone through the course of being a teacher, the primary responsibility of a teacher is to teach. And so where it finds you to teach, I think that is what is supposed to be top on your mind. So that when we begin to hear conversations about autonomy, we begin to ask ourselves, what is the main interest of this kind of autonomy? Are you more interested in office and the parks, or are you more interested in attending to the learners? But that is my take. But maybe on a more nationalistic approach, I would say that we already have organs that are in existence, such as the Kenya National Union of Teachers. We also have the COPET. So if the junior school teachers are trying to find a home, I believe they can find a home either in either of these two institutions, so that now we have to beg the question, upon their institutionalization of that organ they want, what is it that they want to do? What value do they want to bring on board, particularly for the learner? Do they just want to have an institution or a name or an association, and that is an end in itself, or do they want to add value to the learners?
Okay.
Yeah, so right. I think that is my take. There are already existing organs that they can affiliate themselves with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me bring Dr. Sugut on this, and you have quite a number of questions. I'd appreciate if you're a bit brief, starting from Edwin, who was saying that has the fee structure been reorganized? And how are you dealing with the hidden costs in senior school, where you're asked to bring in eggs that you had not planned for?
Thank you, Trevor. As we speak here, there's a team working on the fee structure with principals, and to be able to, so shortly we'll be communicating on the fee structure, but definitely it is something that will be affordable for purposes of ensuring that children are able to access education.
So the commitment here is that there's going to be a review of the fee structure?
Yes.
And you're going to base this on the school or on the line that the student has picked?
Of course, it will touch on the pathway, it touches on the schools, and of course, all senior schools, we removed the categorization. And so all these are senior schools, right? And therefore, we'll be able to give that communication. That is tied to what you are saying, the hidden costs. Somebody spoke about the eggs, and initially they talked about chicken that teachers were asking for. Well, I think that was an exaggerated way of explaining it, because when we started junior school, for instance, we subsequently gave a guideline, and in terms of capitation, on the vote heads that the government funds. And part of that, there is a vote head in terms of CBC materials to help the teachers be able to acquire some of these things to help do demonstrations in class. I think if there were one or two cases, then that was an exaggerated way, and we want to be very clear to our teachers that they are able to carry out these practicals, to be able to dispense with the curriculum using the funding that has been given, because the vote heads are very clear on what it is. If it is meetings, if it is any items for practicals, for materials, they should be able to get that comfortably.
So are you saying here to the parents who are listening that they should not incur any extra costs?
There should be no situation where a teacher asks the parent to bring eggs to school or to take chicken to school. And unless the parents really want to appreciate a teacher that they have done so well, ideally, that is wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, that is not really, unless now you are in a function and you have been touched and somehow you feel like you want to give chicken to the teachers. Otherwise, really,
But the parents are here, they're saying it's happening. Has it happened? They're here right now. Yes. Let me get one parent here who's confirming that.
No,
I think this came from Edwin. Where is Edwin? Yeah. He's here. Yes. Where's the microphone?
Yes.
So let me pass the microphone to Edwin, who raised this issue of the eggs and the chicken. Pass the microphone. Anyone who has the microphone, tafadhali, just pass it across here so that we hear that conversation. But Sugut, you're explaining that this should not happen in any school.
That should not happen.
But it is happening. Are you aware as the ministry that it is happening?
I need to be told one school so that I find out really why they are doing that.
Edwin, what are we missing here?
I want to report that it's happening in schools, and we are the parents who are giving out these eggs, because like if you don't do, then your child is victimized. So like you find in a class of even 80 children, they are told to bring two eggs for her, or even one. Those are 80 eggs. What are they going to do with all these 80 eggs?
No, that is really.
But the truth is, these hidden costs are happening.
Okay.
We are being asked to pay, and we are paying. Even the assessment books, we don't know, is it us who are supposed to be paying for the assessment books?
Yeah.
Or is it?
Okay. Kepsha, where's the Kepsha representative to also respond to this? And Obuhatsa also wants to say something.
Thank you. Yes. I chair the Parents Association. First of all, I want to support what Mr. Rukudu has said, that teachers are not supposed to ask children to bring eggs to school. But the issue is that parents are also part of the system. Parents have their roles to play. If my child, if the teacher wants to boil an egg, these are 50 children, then my child says, Dad, I don't want to share an egg with another student. I want my personal egg. Now, what is the teacher going to do when the child wants his or her own egg? What is the responsibility of the parent in this position? Secondly, we don't have just to talk about teachers eating eggs or what. Those are minor things. The issue is, are the children getting the right practicals that they are doing in the schools?
Okay.
So, when we say teachers are asking for chicken, they are asking for eggs, these are learning materials that are not found within the school compound.
Okay.
They must come from the parents at home.
All right. Let me hear what Kepsha has to say about this. Yeah,
Let me finish up. I'll make this clear. That we should not blame teachers for asking for teaching and learning resources when they are part of the system. They have their own roles to play.
Okay.
So we don't blame the teachers for asking for the eggs. It's only that is being what Rukud said. There's an exaggeration that over 100,000 eggs or 50,000 eggs.
Okay.
There's nothing like that.
All right. Pass that to Kepsha. And what we're trying to establish here, Dr. Sugut, is that whether the parents are allowed to bring in more resources, apart from having paid fees. It's not just the eggs. It's a bigger conversation than that. So after I've paid my school fees, should I prepare that there's going to be more money that I need to pump in for learning materials, or is the school fees enough? That's really the question that our parents are asking.
Thank you, Trevor, and I'm happy the chair of parents, the national chair, has set the record straight. But let me go closer to what Mr. Sugut was looking at when he said he would like to know the school. I know why he said so. Truth be said, and let justice be given where justice is due. For junior school, the capitation is fair. The Presidential Working Party passed the junior school capitation at 15,000, Trevor. 15,000 shillings, and it was done. But for primary school, Dr. Sugut will agree there's a big gap, because the capitation remains at 1,400 per year. So raising materials, competency-based education materials for primary school is a challenge, especially in schools where the population is low. So I can assure you, there will be no head of institution or a teacher asking for eggs for junior school grades. But I believe grade 6, 5, 4 going down, this has happened. But then not every child. Okay. All we need is demonstration, as the chair said.
Yeah.
The 10. And then maybe now a parent says, or a child says they don't want to share. About the teachers partaking of the chicken and the eggs, that's a directive from the heads. You need to test it to prove, that number one, it's well cooked. And number two, that is not it's not going to cause food poisoning. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Yes, Dr. Sugud. Dr. Sugud, you're on the floor.
Thank you, Trevor. And
so for, like I asked you earlier on, so are you assuring the parents that when they transition into senior school, once they pay the school fees, that will be it? Will it be regularized, or will they have to give in more money, depending on which line the child has taken on the pathway?
Once the fees is paid, Trevor, and within the vote heads that have been taken care of, that should be it. There should be nothing additional. The only challenge at times is parents sit and agree on something that is outside what was planned for. So definitely then that should be a different discussion.
Okay.
Now, there's somebody who mentioned the question of having a child to repeat grade 9 because it's expensive to go to grade 10. It is advisable that children transition to the next grade. And repetition will not make the situation better if it was not good. What we need to do is to explore opportunities to see how the children can be supported. And I want to tie that with the question of bursaries. You are aware of the Wings to Fly, you are aware of banks supporting, you are aware of what we have had in CDF and all that. So when you have a case like that, please be able to participate in the applications that are relevant so that you can be able to get support out of that. So we have that. We have Wings to Fly. We have a directorate of projects and bursaries in our ministry that deals with that. We have those of you who come from maybe Narok and Kajiado, understand of Comfort that is now supporting. So be able to speak about it so that you get support. Because if you keep quiet again, it may be a challenge. The question of selection. Somebody was saying that it was like a forced marriage. Where you are being coerced to sign. You know, we have had a challenge where at times parents complain that a child has been selected to a school they did not choose. And again, this being competency-based education. Parental involvement is very critical, and that's why we're insisting the parent needs to participate. But of course, we are happy with this kind of engagement, Trevor, and we want to pray that we will have more so that we can be able really to understand one another in terms of why are we doing what we are doing? What is the intention? So that all of us are able to concretize our thinking and be able to read from the same script. Because the purpose is, this is a child we all want to support. How then do we come together and be able to do that? That is why we asked you in the selection, you must be physically present to be able to confirm that and support the child. The question of whether a portfolio will be used and all that, all these are ways of assessing the child at that level. And we're using a number of options to be able to really tap into what is the talent of this child. Even those who are being asked to nominate what activity their child would participate in. Let us also not confuse between arts and sports as an area of study that leads into a profession and confuse it with sports for all the children in school. The children undertaking STEM, social sciences, and arts and sports will still participate in the normal co-curricular activities because it is good for their health. But there are these children who will specialize in arts and sports as a career. So that is something that possibly we need to, and we want to explore so many ways because we were asking ourselves the question, when you look at the performance of this child, and you are saying this is a child who has topped in the country, maybe in athletics, do you also say this child has not done well to go for arts and sports? So those are the kind of things that we are looking at to be able to capture that talent from the child. And that's why all of us should be very keen to follow through that. About 100% transition, as we did say, in terms of infrastructure, we are okay. We are not worried about that because we have adequate facility, because we do not have 4 months now. Next year, we will only have grade 10 and then Form 3 and Form 4. And then the question of teachers, definitely the commission will look at the distribution of the pathways in the various schools and redistribute the teachers depending on what is being offered in each of the schools. Kuna mwenzetu alisema kwamba anatoka eneo ambalo pengine ametengwa kiazi, na akazungumzia swala ambalo pengine kama wizara itaweza kuingilia kati kuhakikisha kwamba malipo yale ambayo yanapeanwa pale yanaweza kupunguzwa kidogo. Na nimezungumzia kuhusu vile watoto wanavyojiunga na grade ya 10, kwamba kuna ule uwezo pia kuangalia katika nchi, je, kuna wale ambao wanaweza kuingilia kati kusaidia wale wanafunzi ili kuendelea na masomo yao. I think the other thing is the question of pedagogy and attitude. That is the big thing. That given all the interventions that we have put in place, what we are requesting our teachers in senior school to understand is that what will take us through is change of attitude. We must accept that this is the time that we need to take our children through senior school. And the vision of all this education system we are talking about is to ensure that we have citizens who are empowered, engaged, and more importantly, ethical. And it is not the responsibility of one sector. It is all of us to be able to speak about that, to be able to work around the clock. And we have Trevor, you've said this is the first of this series. Mm-hmm. When we get more of this, we are able to explain ourselves, we are able to listen to you, we are able to speak to you, you are also able to listen to us, so that we concretize our thoughts. Yeah. And again, to be able to understand where the world is moving to in terms of education. We have also tried to compare our competency-based education to other jurisdictions. Mm. We have keenly looked at what is happening in Finland. We have looked at the UK. We have looked at Sweden. Yeah. We have looked at Norway. So because we want to give the best to our citizens. Okay. So let's be able to work on this together.
It's almost midnight, but there are two more questions that I didn't hear you talk about. The Jemima asked why there was a need for a circular on the nominations, and there was another one from Jonathan on mental health challenges and whether we have mental wellness centers in those schools. Well, mental wellness centers in schools is something that we need to pursue. What we have are G&C teachers who support. Yeah. But this is an area, true, that we need to have a discussion and see how best do we work on this. Okay. And maybe also for your information, Trevor, is that we are working closely now with private schools. In this election, for the first time, you will see the private schools participating actively. Yeah. We now have 708 of them that will select children. And we will be able to allow them to do a pre-select before we place the other children. Okay. Yes. All right. Birira, I'd like to give you a chance for closing remarks on this. And these closing remarks are going to be in form of questions because Sam Gituku is having this same communications, same conversation tomorrow in Kisumu with Elimu Mashinani. The PS will be there, the CS will be there. What is that one question you'd like to ask any of them as we close? You can pose a question, you can give a comment or reaction, whichever one you prefer. Then I'll come to Mugo and the same thing to Mugi.
I have an observation, and that we really need to improve on career guidance. Okay. When we take career guidance more seriously, we are going to be able to see this selection issue being more easily managed. Mm-hmm. Because as you have heard, some people feel that it was forced upon them. And so my call would be that the teacher training colleges, the Ministry of Education, the Teacher Service Commission, put more emphasis on career guidance. Okay. But at the same time, on the issue of being ethical, I have a concern, and probably that should be a question. What are we going to do about cases of gangsterism that we are beginning to see? It is unfortunate that where my school is located, we suffered what was in the press, and it is a going concern, and we are approaching the holidays. The learners are going to be at home for long. So my question is, what is society, not one person, what is society going to do about the gangsterism and the bullying that is taking place, especially outside of the school environment?
Okay. Mugo, closing remarks and questions if you have any, or comments.
Yeah, so mine, I think on the question around scholarships and bursaries, let's consider that we've been putting cut-off marks and all that to, these provisions. And yet we know the neediest in our society cannot afford to be bright because of the same issues I said of brain development. You know, a child from a very needy family has no chance of being bright. So why are we attaching support to being bright, and yet the poorest are the ones at the bottom?
Is that a statement of fact? There are some children from very needy backgrounds who are very bright.
How many? The proportion-wise, when you look, why are you requiring the poor to be bright, and yet what they need is support to go to school? So I think it's this.
Elaborate on your statement of it, and you can hear even from the reaction of it. What exactly? How do you mean this?
Support ought to be affirmative action.
Okay.
And it should be based on need, not a score.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we know that those in better schools and all that are the ones also scoring higher and all that. So let's dissociate even the government scholarships from a score. Let's just assess the need, and we favor those that are neediest. The question I think is around what policies now are needed. Look at this generation. Look at issues of technology, AI. The policies that need now to be instituted to support secondary, the senior school. I think it's time now to overhaul also the policies of behavior management, how adolescents are supported, issues of hours of sleep that we know are leading to mental health in adulthood. I think it's an opportune moment, and I would love to have a conversation to look at this now holistically, because this provides a very opportune window to now restructure our senior school. Issues of deboarding, so that those parents that can stay with their children are supported to stay with them and not sticking all our children in institutions and parenting each other instead of us as parents parenting them.
All right.
So, yeah.
So bursaries should be based on score, based on need, not score.
Trevor.
Bursary should be based.
Have you gotten my point?
I'm clarifying that because I can hear the reaction, and from the media, trying to make sure you're not misquoted here. So bursary should be based on need and not on score.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Let's bring in Mugi on this. Closing remarks and question you may have.
Yeah, thank you very much, Trevor. One, I would say that CBC, if parents are more empowered and engaged, is a good system from my own opinion and what I have seen. And my question is, moving forward, how will parents be engaged? Because here, this is where the biggest gap is, to onboard CBC as well a good system. My other question is about the free education. Some parents have raised the issues of, extra levies and etc. Bring an egg, bring etc. How free is free education? Are we talking about free education, or are we talking about free tuition? So that as moving forward, parents are getting to know what is expected of me as a parent, so that if, assuming you're in a public institution, you do not maybe refuse to do one or two things because maybe this has been said that it is 100% free. So that at the end of the day, that engagement, because parents need to be engaged, we need to be empowered. What do we need to do? Because at the end of the day, we are here for the learners and we want the best from them. So is it free education, free tuition? That needs to be very clear for parents. And also, what are the levels of engagement when it comes to the parents? And most importantly, how are you going to, the ministry is going to engage parents? Let me give you a scenario, a very short one. If you're a parent association, if you're a parent PA chair in a school, you are with like 2,000 parents who are under you. So if you are a sub-county, you have 11 PAs, then we are talking about almost 20,000 parents. Okay. So it is a good platform to see how are we going to engage parents, to see the success of CBE and CBE.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for engaging us on this conversation. We've just started this series of town halls on CBE transition. We'll still have many more of them. We're just talking about the preparedness on this first one. We'll roll out more and have a conversation in collaboration with Zizi Africa on this. I want to thank Dr. John Mugo, Executive Director, Zizi Africa, Afrique Foundation, Dr. William Sugut, Head of Directorate of Secondary Education at the Ministry of Education, Martha Mugi, Vice Chair, National Parents Association in Nairobi County, Catherine Birir, Head of Institution, Unity Comprehensive School, and all of the dignitaries who are here from KEPSHA, also from KISE, all of you, plus the parents, for making time and speaking to us. It's now midnight. That's where we have to leave it for now. On behalf of everyone who made this possible, I say good night and God bless.